Okay. All right, if you're just joining us, we're getting started at noon for the Agritourism Grants Program webinar. Please feel free to put your name and where you're located in Montana in the chat. We're so glad to have you here today, and we'll get started in 5 minutes. All right, if you're just joining us, welcome to the Agritourism Grants Program webinar. We will get started at noon in about 3 minutes. Please feel free to put your name and where you're located in Montana in the chat, and we'll get started in about 2 minutes. Thank you. All right, if you're just joining us, we are going to start the Agritourism Grants Program webinar at noon in about a minute. Feel free to put any questions you have or comments in the chat so that we can respond to them. I'm Susan Joy, and I'll be administering this webinar, and my co-host is Amanda Wilkie, and she'll be monitoring the chat and responding to any questions that you have. We will get started in 1 minute. All right, so it is noon and we will get started. This webinar is being recorded. My name is Susan Joy, and I'm a program specialist here at the Montana Department of Commerce, and I'm joined by my colleague Amanda Wilkie, who is facilitating the webinar and monitoring the chat. I'm administering the Agritourism Grants Program, and we're both excited about this funding opportunity and look forward to reading your grant submissions. Before we begin, we'd like to go over some housekeeping. This webinar will be recorded and made available on the Commerce Agritourism webpage, which I put in the chat. At the end of the webinar, there will be a question and answer session. Please drop any questions in the chat, and we will read and answer those at the end of the presentation. During the presentation, we will turn our camera off, so you'll only see the presentation on the screen, and then we'll turn our cameras back on for the Q&A. So with that, let's get started. The formal definition of agritourism in Montana was established as part of a broader liability bill introduced in 2017. It's currently in statute as MCA 27-1-752. This definition connects agriculture to tourism with the intent to educate and entertain visitors or guests. Agritourism includes a variety of activities. As a relatively new industry in Montana, there's opportunity to create and develop activities and experiences unique to your operation. Agriculture experiences such as a cowgirl camp or tractor driving workshops connect people to farming and ranching. Education activities can include teaching others about agricultural production or processing through canning and making soap. Other activities include outdoor recreation like hiking and horseback riding, direct sales like a farmer's market, and entertainment such as a farm-to-table dinner. The agritourism grant is meant for people who are interested in developing or expanding an agritourism activity. There is $300,000 available this funding cycle for grants up to $50,000, and we encourage projects and activities of all sizes. The intent is to help farmers and ranchers diversify revenue options through a new or enhanced agritourism activity. Grants are also for activities in rural, undervisited, and tribal locations throughout Montana that will generate tourism revenue for the benefit of the local economy. So who is eligible to apply for this funding opportunity? We encourage applications from local governments, including cities, counties, consolidated governments, schools, tribal governments, enrolled members of the Montana tribe, Montana residents, businesses, including not-for-profit businesses, registered and in good standing with the Montana Secretary of State. You can apply for up to a $50,000 grant, and please keep in mind the grant is a reimbursement grant. A match is not required for grant requests up to $10,000. If your grant is $10,001 up to $50,000, a dollar-to-dollar match is required and must be met on each request for reimbursement. Up to 25% of the match can be in-kind goods and services. In-kind is defined as a good or service donated to the project or activity. This can include food, web design services, or labor. And this is a list of eligible uses of grant funds. So for example, if your total proposed agritourism project cost is $40,000, your grant request is for $20,000. You'll have to match that award with $20,000 of your money. Of that $20,000 of your match, up to $5,000 or 25% can be in-kind services or goods. And remember, you have to meet that match on every request for reimbursement throughout the duration of your project and award. Keep in mind that not all grant requests will be funded for the full amount. Some applications will be awarded partial funding. So what's not eligible? As you may expect, it's anything that is prohibited or in violation of Montana or federal law, anything that takes place outside of the state of Montana, anything outside or prohibited by the grant contract that the grantee would sign, any ongoing or monthly general operating expenses, and this does include things like indirect and overhead. You're not eligible to use the grant funding for travel, like to a conference, any debt that you might have, any expenses prior to the date of your award letter, and the purchase of property, animals, or vehicles. This is a look at the project budget and schedule template that we are requiring of everybody in their grant application. We've put in some examples of what we expect to see from you. This budget needs to be filled out and submitted with the online grant application. It's available on our website and it's available with the online grant application. You will need to download the template, fill it out, and upload as an attachment to your application. It's an Excel document, so it should auto-calculate your numbers for you. Please try to be as accurate as you can in predicting the amount of grant funds needed to successfully complete your project. And keep in mind that the grant is for 12 months. So what do you need to get ready to apply? You'll need to create a State of Montana Okta account, familiarize yourself with the documentation, and download for your reference a project budget and the grant application. It's really important to start your application early. Do not wait until the last day to apply. The grants team will not be available after 5 p.m. on October 23rd, and we can't help you if something isn't working after that time. We strongly recommend you download the grant application PDF for reference and the project budget and schedule template. Write out your grant in a Word document first and complete your budget before you start the application online. If you copy and paste into the online grant application, make sure all formatting is removed and you're only pasting normal text. Sometimes it helps to draft in a notepad type document first. Unfortunately, Apple files are not compatible, so if you use numbers for your budget, it won't come through the application. Have all your materials handy, like your EIN number and a screen grab of good standing with the Secretary of State if you're a registered business with the state of Montana. Click on the blue Save as Draft button as you work. Save early and saved often when working on your online application through the Montana Grants and Loans portal. Text is not saved as you type. If you open a new browser window while you're working, you could lose all your work. The Montana Grants and Loans portal will automatically log you out after 60 minutes, even if you're typing. You must complete your application within that time frame or save it as a draft to return to working on it. It will not save your progress automatically. So again, it's really important to start your application early. Do not wait until the last day at the last minute to apply. Now I'm going to flip over to the Agritourism webpage to show you where all these documents live and how you can navigate to the Montana Grants and Loans website to complete and submit your application. All right, so this is the Agritourism Grant Program webpage, and I do have this in the chat. So I recommend, if you haven't gone there already, to go to this page. This is also where we'll be storing the webinar number 2 recording. You can see the webinar number 1 recording is already there. Down here in the resources for applicants section, you'll find the grant guidelines, which I highly recommend you read and review. The application, if you want to download the PDF and read it. Attachment A is of the scoring criteria if you're interested to see how the applications will be reviewed. You can also find the budget template here and an FAQ if you have a question. If your question isn't answered in the FAQ, please contact us. We're happy to answer all your questions. So I'll show you what the guidelines look like. They aren't very long, but they do go through the purpose of the program, the definitions, and answer again the eligible and ineligible expenses. If you click on the Apply Now button, this is where you'll end up. You're looking at the Agritourism Grants Program. We've got the description here. Under application forms, you'll also find the budget, which you can download. When you click on the blue Apply button, it will open the application. And again, click Save as Draft. Every time you type something, highly recommend you click Save as Draft. Also, it's good to know that you open up these red question mark buttons. Some of the questions, and I'll just scroll down, give you the specific details that we're looking for. So make sure you go through this thoroughly, read every question, open up the information for more so you see what else we're asking for, and save early and often. I'm going to stop sharing and we'll go back to the presentation for the Q&A section.
Right. And while Susan's switching over, I just want to say the chat was disabled, but it is active now. So if you have a question, go ahead and type it into the chat. Sorry about that.
And again, if you have a question that you can't really think of right now, but as you're working on the application or as you sit with the guidelines a little bit longer, please don't hesitate to reach out. tourismgrants@mt.gov is the email address to reach us, and we're more than happy to answer your questions. No question is too silly or weird. Please reach out and ask.